There's no way any Suns or Mavericks fans will forget Game 7 in the 2021-2022 season. The Suns' loss that night led to Deandre Ayton being benched. He had only 18 minutes of playing time that night, and everyone was pretty confused. He didn't even speak to the media after the match. Apparently, he still hasn't spoken to Coach Monty Williams since then. Let's get into this and some more NBA news in this video. First up, Ayton speaks about how he hasn't talked to Coach Williams since that fateful night. The Suns center opened up about how he hasn't spoken to the head coach since the game against the Dallas Mavericks back in May. A lot has happened since then, but now the teams are gearing up for the 2022-2023 season and everyone is moving on. However, it doesn't look like Ayton and Coach Williams are on the same page. After the first practice of the season ended, Deandre took the liberty of telling reporters about his differences with Monty Williams, stating flat out that he hasn't spoken to him since then. Then, meaning May. That is a long time. So, why hasn't he spoken to the coach? According to Ayton, instead of talking to the coach, it'll be better if he shows him instead. He says that he doesn't care about the uncontrollable nature of the whole situation. At the end of the day, all that matters is how you perform. Ayton also said that whatever's been said in the past is just that. It's in the past. There's no point in mulling it over right now. He's continuing with the Suns right now, and it looks like his getting benched might just be the motivation he needs to get better. For the most part of the summer, players have been practicing alone at the Suns facility. Monty Williams thinks that this is exactly what's needed because the players need some one-on-one time. Next, let's look at his performance in Game 7 back in May. Nobody went into the game expecting the Dallas Mavericks to win. Luka Doncic played exceptionally well, draining 3 shots and successfully giving the Mavs an early lead. With Doncic scoring 35 points and Dinwiddie scoring 35 more, they finished strong with a 123-90 knockout. The Suns were in a pretty strong position before the game, but it looked like they were just overwhelmed with the pressure of Game 7. It's completely natural, but nobody expected them to fumble the way they did. Coach Williams said that they just could not execute that night. A lot of the Suns fans even started booing by halftime, and that's how you know their performance was so uncharacteristic of them. As for Deandre Ayton's performance, he did the best he could given his limited playing time of around 18 minutes. Clearly though, it wasn't enough. With 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists, he was benched pretty soon. It was shocking that one of the Suns' star players had such little time, but when the head coach was asked about that decision, he simply responded that it's internal, refusing to comment further. It was pretty clear things were tense with the Phoenix Suns. Moving on to why he was benched by head coach Williams. As we talked about, Coach Monty Williams didn't really comment on why Deandre was benched right after the second half began, but we can imagine that he had his own reasons for it. Ayton had quite a bit of playing time to utilize his 7'6" wingspan and 6'11" frame, but he still didn't. The crazy part is, this is exactly what they needed to win against the Mavericks in Game 7. Even though he had 17.3 points and 10.2 rebounds per game this season, it looks like he and the Suns' defense didn't really align as well as they should be. So, there's no real reason that the Suns and head coach gave for benching Deandre Ayton, but the numbers speak for themselves. People started making all sorts of speculations after the game ended, but there were few pretty reliable reports that came in. These reports said that Williams and Ayton had a few words after he was benched in the second half, and they seemed to be on the same page pretty much. But the team's energy was visibly diminished, and that's why it was so easy for the Mavericks to win. They just didn't have the spirit and seemed pretty demotivated. Not to forget, what's next for Ayton and the Suns? It was pretty clear that there was some tension between Ayton and the team, and the Indiana Pacers tried to take advantage of this. They sent a 4-year, $133 million offer to Deandre, and it was looking like he might join and leave them. But the Suns matched this offer pretty quickly, and Ayton returned to play for them. So far, all we know is that Deandre's staying with the Suns for the next few years, and there's a huge possibility that he might become a free agent in the coming years. But we'll focus more on Ayton's future with the team right now. As we talked about earlier in this video, it seems like the players had a lot of time and space from Coach Williams in camp, and this might just be good because now they can focus on developing their own strategies. results. As for Deandre, he's taking a more business-like approach to this season. He's not his typical joyful self. This might be what he and the team need, but it could go the wrong way too if he feels unmotivated. From his comments about showing Coach Williams his improvement instead of talking to him, it looks like he's determined to prove himself. Let's hope this works out well for him and the Suns this season. They really need to up their game, considering that they've never won an NBA championship. Let's hope things work out well for them this season. Now, let's move on to some other NBA news. First up, Steph Curry approaches Adam Silver about Phoenix Suns owner. Robert Salver is the owner of the Phoenix Suns, and he's been accused of a lot of messed up stuff. He made racist and comments about his employees, used racial slurs, and even outright harassed and bullied many people. The NBA investigated and found out that he's been doing all this, but they're still pretty slow when it comes to taking action. Finally, though, the Suns are up for sale, and that's thanks to the many efforts of the players and the investigation team. Some of the biggest names in the NBA immediately started to call for his resignation after the allegations came out. Steph Curry is one of them. He told reporters that he's had many conversations with the commissioner Adam Silver and said that he's very glad the Suns are being sold to someone else now. Curry also said that he didn't expect the punishment to be implemented so quickly and that it might have dragged down longer. According to him, the outcome was exactly what should have happened. It also serves as a lesson for other ignorant people in the NBA management because it's pretty clear the league doesn't take this behavior lightly. Next, will Lonzo Ball miss a season? It's more likely than you think. The Chicago Bulls brought in the point guard along with DeMar DeRozan and Alex Caruso last season. Lonzo was the second overall pick, and it was a pretty good offer for the Bulls. He impacted the game on both ends of the floor and made his mark with the Bulls. Ball was having the best season of his career with the Bulls, shooting a career-high 42.3% from three-point range. Outside of their three All-Stars, Lonzo was the glue holding the team together until he suffered a meniscus injury in his left knee back in January. Everyone was hoping he'd make a quick recovery, but after one surgery down and another on the way, it doesn't look like he's coming back to the court anytime soon. We know the point guard is gutted because he absolutely loves playing. Unfortunately though, running and jumping and even climbing up the stairs is a huge task for him now. Finally, let's look at what KD has to say about why he requested a trade. Kevin Durant has been involved in a lot of stuff ever since his career in the NBA began. Most recently, he requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets, and things got pretty messy. People started to question why things were panning out like this for KD. However, he answered a lot of questions that fans and reporters had on Nets Media Day. The real reason that he requested a trade was that he felt like the Nets weren't performing as well as they could be. KD thinks that they lost a lot of games that they could have easily won, and a lot of things kept getting swept under the rug. That might actually be true, considering the Nets' performance last season was not as great as everyone expected it to be. At the end of the day, though, Durant is still with the Brooklyn Nets for the foreseeable future. Maybe the team will start taking things more seriously now that they're faced with the threat of Durant leaving. That's a wrap for this video. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.